whole survival mode where I got to get that they would be able to, if things don't work out here, you can always come work for me. And there were several people that said that to me. And no matter what I was doing for 3 months, I could not find a job. And I never had that problem.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, it's time.
Right.
It's time. This is done. And I knew it in my heart. So I just started doing to help me with all my stuff, doing the Reiki more. I ran into an old friend of mine and she introduced me to a Reiki share and just connected with everything. And I ended up learning it. And then from there, I went into integrated energy therapy. When I started learning that, I started to speak light language. I started to do toning. I was doing more of the multidimensional quantum work. I got certified sound healer. And then, and each thing I was doing was more, I opened up my own business. I started that like a year after all this happened in 2013. But everything I was doing was about me first. So I was doing it for me. So I did so many things, but I also knew what was my niche and what I needed to bring into the world and the services. That into Moon Key practitioner and doing the right of the room, which is my passion when I deliver that right.
Yeah, and that's one of the programs that you offer.
Yes.
Via Zoom, right? Online.
Yes. And I actually have
find that at your website, which I have posted on the screen.
And I have one coming up December 4th. So it's been a long journey. It's been a great journey. I wouldn't trade it or change it for anything in the world. I wouldn't be who I am right now speaking to you if I didn't have this journey.
Right.
And I'm here to help other people. I'm here to help people connect with themselves, to open themselves up, to activate their heart, to connect with their soul, understand their truth, their purpose. And everything we're going back to love.
Right. Right. Yeah. And you and I had a conversation last week about the way things are shifting and going back to love, and how, the family units and everything are just kind of rearranging themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to go to where you were talking about, what brought you to what you do today. I had once listened to a lecture, and she had said that empaths choose the hardest lives because of what we need to learn to bring us to what we do. And it's like, as you said, everything in the beginning was about you, because truly healers heal thyself.
Yes.
First. I mean, you can learn things and go out there and teach it to people, but until you apply it to yourself and do the work yourself, how authentic are you? So it's beautiful that you have lived through so much and have done that work to bring you to your authenticity and doing what you're doing, and you're doing it fabulously, I might add.
I love what I do. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
Right, right.
Not at all. Yeah, and I know it took a long time to get here, but that was my path. That was my journey. I had to go through all that to be able to be of better service. And I will still move through things and work on stuff. And I'm still working on things so I can be even better service to myself first, but then to humanity.
Right, right. So right now, before I started the show, which, by the way, I think I didn't stream us live right at the very beginning. So the first couple of, like, maybe the first minute, you weren't live. I'm learning as I'm going. But we were talking about the solar flares and the Schumann resonance, and how it is affecting us personally, our bodies, and our sleep patterns. Maybe you want to talk a little bit about that, because I'm sure there's going to be people that are going to listen or watch the show that may have things going on and wondering like, hey, what's going on with me?
So I am very sensitive, and I'm very sensitive to what's going on in the earth, around the earth. Um, and a lot of people who are energetically sensitive can feel when the solar flares are happening, when they're coming. Some people are sensitive to around the full moon or the new moon. For me, it's the full moon. I was born 3 days before a full moon. So the
Yeah.
energy of the full moon starts the 3 days before the day of and
Mm-hmm.
3 days after. Um, the solar flares, so we have our energetic body. We're just this human shell, but we are an energetic body in denser form, which makes us physical. The solar flares carry all types of energy, light codes, information, all of that feeds our body. But in order for our body to integrate that information, to be able to release the things within our body that don't serve us, whether it's old belief systems, patterns, thoughts, whatever it might be, um, those solar flares, all of that moves it out. But the caveat is your soul knows what's going on, but can your human mind and your humanness understand it, know it, and embrace it? So some people may feel something or be going through something like really bad headaches or stomach issues. For me, it hits my stomach. So I get
Mm-hmm.
burning in my stomach. So I don't go to a doctor or I don't take anything. I know what it is. But some people may go right to the doctor, right to urgent care, right to the emergency room. And disclaimer, we know we're not doctors, but and
Right.
they'll go and they'll do all kinds of tests and they'll be like, we don't find anything. There's nothing here.
Yeah.
Because it's just energy. And it's just
Right. Right.
having to move through your body. And I had to learn that and work with that as that happens. But when I feel something in my body, I'm like, all right, let me go check, see if there's really bad solar flares. And I'll look and I'm like, yep. But they've been
Exactly.
so constant this year. You're either going to be energized or one night I won't sleep. Then the next night, I'm full blown, massive, deep dreaming and can't get out of bed, sleeping hard.
Right. Right.
So
But
go with
there
it.
was also, as you were saying, I just want to, you can continue. I just want to make
Mhm.
this point. I feel that there were times though that when you didn't understand this early on, that you would run to a doctor because you don't
Exactly.
know what's going. Yeah, and because I was the same way. It was
Yes.
like every little, oh my God, this is it. Go run into the doctor, and now it's like doctors. Who are they?
Yeah, and I tell everybody like we've been programmed and trained to automatically do that instead of
Absolutely.
just going into our breathing, number one, because we don't all breathe. So doing some breath work, even just for a minute or 2 minutes, will reset your nervous system.
Right.
And as you reset your nervous system, some of what you're feeling will move out because it's just a matter of um, all of this energy slams your nervous system. So you have to
Exactly.
ground and reset your nervous system.
Hmm.
Once you do that, then you just have to kind of feel into what's going on with your body and just relax and give it some time before reacting in some way, shape, or form. And then you may find within 24 hours, it just passes. And I've talked to a lot of clients and stuff, and a lot of people come up to me like, yeah, I've gone to doctor. No one can find anything. No one can find anything. No one can find anything. And that's when I'm like, you need a breathing techniques. And I start to explain to them some of the things that are happening, going on. And some people can accept that,
Right.
and others just aren't there. And that's fine, to each their own. And everybody has to work through their stuff in their path and do their own thing in their own way. Um, And then eventually they'll connect with it or tap into it. But we as humans, we do not connect to our bodies enough, especially through breath
Right,
or
right. And but that
nature or
also comes,
nature.
yeah, and that all comes from the hurriedness and the programs
Mm-hmm.
and the manipulation of the marketing, society, media, all of those things. We're so busy outside of ourselves, and really the true healing and connectedness and what's important and the happiness and the peace is within ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And you brought up the breath, and I have it so many times. I'll be doing readings for people, and that comes in that,
Yeah.
I have to tell them, you don't breathe enough. Everybody walks around shallow breathing.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason we have these lungs that we're supposed to use to full capacity.
Yeah, I go, and I, even when I'm working on some clients, or when I do my group energy healings, or when I'm at events with you and we're doing our mini readings, mini sessions, and I'll be
Yeah.
like, please
Hmm.
breathe, because I can feel it when they're not breathing. Because
Right.
it's like a brick wall, or you feel the resistance, the density, and I'm like, you can move through this faster and allow this to happen if you just breathe.
Right. Right.
You know,
Do
I'm
you
not
have
myself.
people that come to you, like at events and at shows, and when you do a session on them, they're there because of curiosity, but there's still like that resistance from fear and not being able to just release and allow? Because I find that even with people that want readings, I can feel that they're like, and when they really shut down, if they hear something they don't want to hear, it's like bam, it's done.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I there's times where people will be um on the table if I'm doing like an IET session, and I'll say to them, you just really need to breathe. You really need to breathe. And I can just feel that. And I just had a client when I was doing this with, um, I'm like, okay, this is going to be one of those sessions where I'll do my thing, but it's just going to be a session. Like, I'm just going to go through the session because that's the best way for them to receive. But then when they go home, everything will start to happen. They may have their cry. They may have their emotional thing. They may start to have stuff from their past start to come up that has to release, or they have to let go. And then they go to bed at night, and then they really start to integrate everything, because it's the healing without feeling. It's doing it, but no one watching may be aware of it, and they may not even be aware of it. And that's how it works for some people, because it's just starting to get them to reawaken and remember, like, I am this spiritual being in this human body, and I'm starting to realize I am a soul.
Right. Right, right, because we are the
I
soul.
am
This
a
is just
soul.
the shell, the housing for the soul. This isn't
Yeah.
us. And, so many people, that's the other thing. We identify as, well, yeah, I'm the career woman, or I'm the mother, or I'm the this, or I'm the that, but that's not who we are. That has
Mm-mm.
nothing to do with who we are. I have a question, because I listened, I came across this little video of um, someone who I know, who I actually had on my show, my old show, and he brought up a really good point. He said, "We're not ascending. We're not ascending here now.
Mm-mm.
We're enlightening and educating and becoming aware." Because he said there's so many people that are like, oh, I'm ascending, and it's like, what does that mean? I wanted to get because I agreed with what he said, and I wanted to see what you thought about that, but you already said, we're not ascending. So
Well, so I think it's just a matter of semantics and language
hmm.
and how people label and describe things. So some people may say we're expanding.
Yes.
You know, everybody labels it differently, but at our core, we all know it's the same thing, if that makes sense. It's just the human side is labeling it and describing it differently. So we're all going to have a different description of it,
Right.
and we're all not going to have the same label for it. But it's just remembering who we are.
Right.
We're remembering who we are
Yeah.
at a soul level, at our core.
So I look at it as, yes, we are expanding our consciousness. We are, enlightening. At least we should be.
Yeah.
But I think it's ascending part is really when this house for the soul dies, then the soul actually ascends.
Yeah.
And
I
I
can
think
see
that's
that.
how he meant it. I think that's my understanding of it. Um, Not that the soul dies or leaves, or I mean, it leaves the body, but it just
Yeah.
ascends to whatever
Yeah.
dimension it's going to next.
Yeah. And I find that for myself, I am sometimes when I can't put words to something, I know it's very deep, but I'm very much at peace. And when I have that peace, it's just is. It's a being. So I really don't have the words for it because it's being, it's peace. And it's like knowledge and wisdom. It's everything. It's just oneness. It's all happening at the same time.
Right.
So, and I don't have that 24/7, but I have it more often in each day. And as I'm going through things and my day's happening, I'm learning to be present with each thing that I'm doing. And there are times for me it's a little bit of struggle. I'm okay. I'm a Virgo 3 times in my chart, so everything's that
Oh,
hard
wow.
worker. Yeah, that hard worker, and has to be this, that, and the other. And I'm been working. Um, the word they're giving me is diligently um, to find balance with everything. And I feel like that's what a lot of this year and last year is all about is finding balance. And now I could be doing something and I can have a thought, and in that thought I'll be like, wow, that's interesting. I've never thought of that before. And maybe that's just not for me anymore.
Right.
And I can be in the middle of conversations with people and just everything's processing, but in a way that's it's understanding and wisdom and knowledge like happening all at the same time.
Right.
So I believe that's part of our evolving, our growth, our
Right.
expansion. But again, remembering who we are, it's all coming back. And our cells are remembering now more than they ever have, because the solar flares, the sun, all of that is recalibrating our DNA. We're going from Homo sapien to Homo luminous.
Right. Right.
So there were times in civilizations where they lived that way.
Yeah, and you when you were talking, I was thinking about because you we have to allow that misconception, that program belief of who we are to die, to go away, so we can go back to who we are truly
Mm-hmm.
intended to be. Because you just kind of can't keep piling on top of crap. If you didn't release the crap's still there. So you're not getting that full expansion, that full knowledge and awareness and wisdom, whatever you want to call it. And it's interesting because as that happens, at least for me personally, you go through these times where it's like you don't know where you belong almost. You know, you like I don't fit here anymore, but I'm
Yeah.
not quite there yet. So I'm
Mhm.
just kind of maybe like what they call the dark night of the soul. You're just feeling like, you know, the hermit mode, all in by yourself, not knowing what to do, but you're still doing the work for self.
It's funny you should say that because the Hermit's the Virgo car, and I go through that a lot.
Yeah,
But I felt that way as a child. I felt that way my whole life. If it hadn't been for like soccer and being outside all the time, I I wouldn't have fared very well. I don't know if I'd still be here. It's just, and that's not. It's just, um, I was ultra sensitive, ultra sensitive. So um, that in itself reminds me how important nature is, and now more than ever. I know in this past month, 2 months, I've had this craving to be outside all the time. And when I would go to the beach and walk to the beach, and I'm like, I don't want to go home. I just want to live here. I just want to sleep here every night.
right,
So when
right,
I feel that way, I know so much is transitioning and transforming, and going deeper and deeper. And we're doing that as a whole. That's why all these things are up, because we're getting to this place, and time where history won't repeat itself.
yeah, yeah,
You know, that's what's coming. That's what we're in the middle of. You know, we're all going through this phase of the phoenix rising out of the ashes. But we're all doing that at our own pace, and it's going to happen for all of us at different times. Because our souls are done with all of it. We're done.
right.
We're done with the old ways. We're done with all of this. It's time, because it's just time, and I have no other way to explain it. But this is the time for
Right.
remembering transformation and getting back to love.
Right. And you know, you said about being a kid, it just, you know, it reminded me that I never felt like I fit in and I did everything that I could to conform to fit in
Mm-hmm.
because I came in this way, you know,
Yeah.
this spiritual being connected, really connected. But I was here, I almost like before my time in a way,
Mm-hmm.
because nobody, it's like having the psychic gifts. Now it's, you know, it's mainstream
Yeah.
talking about this stuff. But then in the early 60s, it was not. And, you know, there was such challenges. But again, like we were talking about earlier, those challenges are what brought us to be able to help the people that we help today because we lived through it and we really did the work. So we get that understanding. The thing about nature, I'm the same way. Lately, it's just like I can't
Mm-hmm.
be outside enough,
Yep.
and it's getting cold here. So,
No. And,
but I
and
don't care. I'll bundle up and walk the beach. I don't care if the wind's whipping. I got to be there. I
what you
really
know,
do.
so I don't know if you're experiencing it, but I'm finding it. I used to always be cold, but like even this past couple weeks, as the temperature's changing, I'm I normally would start to feel like, oh, it's cold weather, but I'm so embracing it more than I've ever have, which is
Right.
interesting because the other night we were walking outside and I'm like, this ain't cold to me. Like this feels really good.
There's
So I
something about the refreshing feeling of it. It gives you that like alive feeling.
Yeah, it wakes me up. I enjoy it. Like I literally, I open up my sliding doors to the screened-in porch, and I go out there and I do uh, I jump up and down for like a minute, and it's cold out, but it's kind of almost like I'm not on a
It's like
rebounder,
a tai
but
chi.
I
That's a
want to
tai
get
chi
a
movement, I
rebounder.
think.
But it's doing a lymphatic system and
Yeah,
getting everything going, and it's cold out there, but I'm like, but at the same time, I'm like, it feels good.
Yeah.
It feels good. So I'm getting everything moving and opening things up, and yeah, I just fully embracing that. But I have the woods to look at. I have this like almost like man-made mini ponds in the backyard, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, start my day, starting the day, and I don't.
Right.
Yeah, I can feel all the changes, and it feels good. And we have to be outside because there's just so much energy being blasted onto this planet.
Right. And it's almost like that you can connect to nature in a way that it's like you can hear the trees talking,
Hmm.
so to speak. Like they bow down, as you pass by, kind of feeling, because you are connected. You have returned to that, and we're all energy, even the trees and the plants and the grass and the
Yeah,
animals, and it brings us all to that connectedness. And it's something that you really can't put it into words to describe it
mm-mm.
because
No,
the human language does not communicate.
right. But when you can't put it into words, for me, when you can't put something into words and it's undescribable, you're in it.
Hmm.
You're in the here and the now. You're all that is. That's being.
Yeah.
That's just embracing everything as it is.
And that's the beauty. That's the love.
Yes.
That's where we need to return to, which you said we
Mhm.
are returning
Well,
to.
we're going back to, you're going to see more and more telepathy and all that, because really that's being, that's silence. It's knowing that you can do that conversation or have that connection without having to say words.
Right.
You know, it's words aren't always needed. They're
No.
not, just being.
No, and we have a tendency of when I say we, it's not necessarily you and I, it's the collective,
Uh-huh.
um, needing to fill in the quiet, the void. If you're in a car
Hmm.
with someone, why not just be in the quiet? You don't have to
Hmm.
constantly have chatter going. And I see more and more people are kind of going to that, but there's still a lot. As you said, we're all going to you know, reconnect. I don't know about that one. I not everybody that's here in this lifetime may do it. They'll come back
Right.
around, but because there's a lot of people that have been so manipulated and conformed to the society rule.
So one of the things that I'm noticing is, I'm out doing events with my jewelry, so I'm doing a lot of craft shows and stuff here and there, and I'm connecting with people through those events. So this past weekend, I did one, and the first person to come to my table showed up a little early, and she said, "I need to understand about stones and energy. I'm this stuff's just starting to hit me now. I'm starting to ask questions, and I that was my purpose of being there. Yes, I
Right,
love making my gemstone jewelry, and I know that I put a lot of beautiful vibes and all of that into it, and it helps those who don't quite understand anything, but I know their jewelry is doing something to help them open them up. But that conversation and that conversation with another vendor who does these beautiful, gorgeous paintings, and she's so connected, but doesn't just needs to tuck it in and understand why she's doing the art she's doing and all that. Those two conversations alone made my day, and I knew why we were all connecting.
right,
And it's just because I am showing up. I'm just showing up, being who I am, my authentic self, and I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm just
right.
showing up in service, and whatever transpires, transpires.
How many events have you and I been to together, vending, there, that we have said that, that,
Mhm.
we it
You don't
doesn't
take the
matter. Yeah,
table back
yeah.
sometimes, you don't, but that's okay. We know why we're there.
Yeah, exactly. We're holding space or just having that one
Mhm,
conversation. I did a very small event, I think it was last weekend, locally, and it was just, a local volunteer fire department doing a fundraiser thing. And I thought, I'm gonna go, and I'm like, who knows what it's gonna bring, but I just felt like I needed to be there. And I did. I connected with other vendors. I had a couple of people come to my table and talk to me. It wasn't like I didn't sell anything or do anything. I just was there to enlighten and share with
mhm.
other people. And sometimes that's what we're supposed to do. We are the prophets, we are the ones that are out there spreading that love and light. I had one time somebody come up to me at an event and said, "Well, what is it that you really do?" And I said in a nutshell, I spread love and uplift others because basically that's what I do.
Mhm.
That's what my intention is.
Yep.
So,
And
so
love is a frequency and a currency.
it sure is. Yeah, I'm sure you're familiar with that scale of consciousness by Dr. David Hawkins, and it's about the emotions and where the vibrational frequencies are. And so, like grief and fear and all that, it's way low, but love brings you up to that
Mhm.
ultimate of enlightenment. And that's really like the Beatles, all we need is love. That's really the truth.
Yep.
And unfortunately, the society has gotten so like hateful. If you don't believe what I believe, if you're not walking the same walk I'm walking, and it's
Mhm.
we're not intended to be cookie cutters. We're intended to each brings, as my mother used to say, everybody brings something to the party, and
Yep.
and that's the party of life. Everybody brings something, so embrace that. You and I don't necessarily believe exactly the same things, but look at the love that we have, that we share
Mhm.
as friends and colleagues. But it's we just have to keep beaming that love out, and that's why we go to these events and do what we do.
Exactly.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit, because we were talking about the language and not being able to put into words these things. You also do light language.
Yes.
Explain that to me and the listeners.
So, light language is the language of our soul. It's quantum in nature. We're quantum in nature. We're understanding our multidimensional quantum self, and which is everything's happening at once. Man, humans created linear time.
Exactly.
Past, present, future is all at once, including past lives. Um, I'm sitting here in front of you. You're sitting here in front of me, but an aspect of our soul is embodied in our bodies, but we have aspects of our soul elsewhere. So that's all part of all of that. The universe, everything was birthed out of sound and light. Numerology, sacred geometry. It's it's our it's our birth, it's our birthright, it's who we are. And the heart recognizes, understands, the soul recognizes, understands the language. So if you think about, so when I write it, it kind of would look like, to some people, they may think it looks like doodling. To others, and everybody writes zillions of different languages, and they connect with the galactics, other lineages. I mean, this is not, we're not the only game in town. So we're all made of stardust. Planetary systems, there's been other systems, and we've all had experiences with that. That was their language as well. I mean, great example of this is hieroglyphics. So if you look at the symbols that were used and how they had their language, that Melodic Light language is written like that. But it's original source energy. And it helps you remember who you are and disentangle and unravel any and all energy that is in a way of you understanding that and remembering that. I can work with people and help people clear many lifetimes trauma in the body, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, just by doing the light language, especially belief systems and thoughts, and help them connect to their soul and almost like activate their heart to open up.
So is this something that you teach? I know it's a service you offer.
So I don't teach it because for me, it's very experiential, and I believe it opens up for everybody at a different point in time. If you ever listen to children, where they may babble or say or do different things, and some people say, well, they're nonverbal, all they're doing is babbling or doing this, that, and the other, up to like the age 3 or 4. We all come in with all these capabilities, and we can all do these. Children, when they look above your head, to the left, to the right, no, they're seeing spirit.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, this is something that's within all of us. It's just about remembering. And when I guess it was after my IET level 1, I was with a client, and she said, and she was another energy. She did mediumship, and she said to me, just let it go. Just say and do what you need to do, because she could feel the energy. And I just started toning out of my mouth. And I can tone at a higher pitch than a singing bowl.
Wow.
And I'm like 5'2", 120 pounds. And everybody's like, how does that come out of your body? I'm like, I don't know. I just started doing it one day. And I will do it to clear homes. I'll do it to clear myself, or even when I work on clients. And then after that, the light language started. And it sounds like you're almost speaking like a foreign language. Some people may say tongues. So it's been around.
And I was just going to ask you that about tongues. Of
course, it's electricity. It's just powerful energy built within it. That's the best way. I think I can describe it, because it's very experiential. Because I'll have some people be like, I don't know what that was, but I felt something move off of me. I feel a lot lighter. It's just, so there's very strong healing power behind it, but it's tied to whoever's there in front of me.
Right. I'm glad you mentioned tongues, because I was going to ask you about that, because I when I was this was like in the early mid 80s, when I first started my spiritual journey seeking stages, and I was attending Pentecostal church at that time in New Mexico. I was living in New Mexico then, and I spoke in tongues, at one of the services. And I was married at the time, and I remember going home. When we got home, my ex-husband was saying, "What the heck did you say?" I was like, "I have no idea, but man, it felt good. It felt really good." So yeah, I figured that was the same experience. And as you said, that you can't really teach it because it's more, an experience, and you grow. I feel that way about Reiki and energy work.
Hmm.
I feel that, you can get the gist of it, in a weekend class or something, but
Hmm.
you really have to work with it
Hmm.
to experience it even deeper and stronger and better. Like remember years ago, my Reiki master, the heat that came off the man's hands was
Yeah.
unbelievable. It was just like, wow. But and if I was practicing Reiki like I used to, I'd have that heat coming off my hands. And it's not that I don't do energy work, but I just don't do it as intensely. I don't even offer it as a service anymore.
But you do it in a different way. We all,
Right.
so some people just, and I say this to every, because they did this. So when I was at the shares before I got attuned to Reiki, um, my friend said, come up to the table. And I'm like, why? I'm not attuned to it. Why would I do that? And they're like, he's like, I'm telling you, just walk up the table and start placing your
Mhm.
hands on people because you've already got it within you.
Right.
And I could feel things and all. And I could sense stuff in different areas of the body. So we're all doing it in different ways. We're all healers in different ways. And there's energy within everything. So I like you met Lori, the reflexologist. She was never attuned to it, but she's got magic hands.
Right.
A lot of massage people. Like there's a good bit of massage people that's it's within them. Um, I just I know I went that route because I know I'm meant to be a teacher and a mentor. That's my journey. I know that. I know that in the depths of my soul. So
Right.
that's why I went that I didn't Reiki master teacher and I did my integrated energy therapy master teacher because I knew that was my journey and that's what I was supposed to be doing. I no longer teach the Reiki because I don't, we're going into this space, place, and time where there, things are going to really move and elevate, and people are going to expand faster and faster, and they're not necessarily going to need to go through that process
Exactly. Exactly.
like we did. So people are going to awaken and expand in different ways. That's why you see more and more people going to sound healings. That's opening up and expanding them. That's why when I do the light language, it's opening up and expanding them, and it's opening their gifts.
Yeah.
And I find that after, some people can do one group energy healing, and then they're like, oh my God, I had all these dreams, and my intuition is starting to kick in. So and everything's moving so fast at a rapid pace that you just, what may have taken us 15, 20, 30 years, it's not going to take other people that long. And these,
No, no. And you made a good point, because there are fabulous healers out there, and we all do it a little bit different or offer
Mhm,
something differently because not everyone receives or learns at the same level.
mhm,
So it doesn't make one thing better than the other.
right.
And I've told so many clients, I get a lot of people that come to me because I do this spiritual counseling that are still in the process of shedding all the crap and
Mhm,
helping them work through so they can start to receive more and surrender their old beliefs. But I can and I've had these conversations at events too with people. It's like you have to connect to feel to know what is right for you because you don't run to the first metaphysical shop and buy everything in the store because you don't need everything in the store. But it's like a kid at Christmas, you're excited because you got a taste of
yeah.
something and you just want more and you want to try to get it real quick. But it doesn't work that way. We have to allow and unfold and
Mhm.
release and open and accept. So I felt like I needed to add that for those that are listening, so they don't feel like they're missing something because you're not missing something. And
Right. And I was one of those people that I wanted to learn and delve into everything. Um, and then I found myself, okay, I need to slow down. and I'm very connected to crystals. And I think I know that's part of being the earth sign. The dirt, the ground, and crystals is just very much my thing. But after the first couple of years, I really just honed in on a few things. And I went and learned a lot of different things, but like quantum hypnosis and all. But I never did it. I didn't feel the connection to it. So I knew when I did that was for me personally. That's not something that was for me to do with others. But I know when I do my light language and stuff like that, that's having the same effect. And people get to move through things without having to feel them, because we don't have to know all our past lives. And sometimes it can re-trigger us. And so I know that was important for me to experience all those different things. But I came into more balance of what resonated for me to do and what didn't. And then I had a couple of things that I work with and that I do with people. And I think for me, it was, it's that worker bee in me. And I had to kind of reel that in too, but we do. I can relate to that, because the first couple of years I felt like, man, I can clear this, fix that, clear this, fix that. I can really get my health back in order.
Yeah.
And I did, but it doesn't happen overnight. And that's one of the things that I learned. It taught me patience. Like, there's so many things that I learned from it that I can now, help and teach others with. But I feel like people are moving through things faster.
Right.
At a more faster and rapid pace. So,
because everything's moving faster.
Yes.
But the other
Absolutely.
thing also is for the healers and teachers out, we can get into that analysis paralysis. Like I have to learn this. I have to get this certification before I can start going public with what I'm doing, or, this or that. And that was my big thing. I was always, oh, I can't do this. I'm not good enough. I got to learn this first. I got to learn that first. And you just have to start, really, because we learn as we go. Every single client, every reading I've ever done, I get something out of it. Not just the person I'm doing it for. I receive something as well. So it's like I always say about a hug. The best thing about a hug, you can't give one without getting one.
Yep.
And it's
that's good.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, because it's the truth. So when we're working with others and sharing and healing and expanding consciousness, we're getting it too. And it's just a wonderful thing. It's like starting this podcast. It was I'm not a techie person. I'm just, tripping along as I go, but I'm not giving up, because I just know that I need to do this. And it's for everyone out there, the people I have as guests, but for me too. It's such a great experience, and I'm learning so much, and I'm growing so much. And, I'm sharing that with everyone. And there was a time when I would never. I remember when I first did the show a couple of years ago, I was a guest first, and I was a nervous wreck. I was like, what am I doing? I don't even know why I suggest this. And then the producer said, I need to have my own show. And she was like the third person that told me that. And I was like, okay. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I did it. And I learned so much from it. And that's why, we have to have that courage to step out of that comfort zone. But I really say it's an uncomfortable zone, because we just stay there because it's familiar. It might not be comfortable. And when we have that courage to really understand that the power is within us, that we can become and create whatever it is that we believe that we are, so we can talk ourselves into something as easily as we can talk ourselves out of it. So we're going back to those beliefs. And I'm sure you can relate to all of that as well.
Yeah, right. This is a very it's a great time to be alive. It's a pivotal time for humanity. Um, we're all one. So where we go one, we go all. I mean, we're part of the whole. So everything we say and do, our thoughts, our words, our deeds, our action, everything is a ripple effect. We create this reality, and we're
Yeah.
creating it is individually and collectively.
Yeah.
So there is no me, it's we, and we're we're realizing that, and we're being shown that, and all these things are happening for us to understand that and to get back to oneness and wholeness.
Yeah. Yeah. And to understand, like you said, it's our thoughts and our words that create the
Mm-hmm.
reality. And it's not that it's, and I think a lot of us, including myself, I used to have it backwards. It's like, well, yeah, once this happens out here, then I could be this way in here.
Yep.
But no, we got to be that way in here first
Mm-hmm.
to create what's happening out there. So,
Absolutely, and
yeah.
it's really. I feel like this year I'm really mastering that more and more. And even
Hmm.
though we do this work, we're all works in progress. Because if we
And
weren't, we wouldn't be here.
absolutely. Yeah, and I like to use the analogy, it's not like you just flip a switch and say, "Okay, I
Yeah,
arrived. I got it all together now. Everything's in balance."
yeah,
No, because life is still happening out there.
yep.
Things happen that we don't, we do create our reality, but there are things that we get hit with, but that's because there's lessons there for us.
Hmm.
So we need to not say, "Oh, woe is me." We need to say, "Okay, what can I learn from this experience? This is happening. I pulled this in, even though consciously I might not know that, but it's somewhere in my recesses.
Hmm.
I pulled this in because I still need to learn something here." And that's where, it gets confusing because you say, well, we create our reality, but then, in the conscious mind, you could be doing affirmations till you're blue in the face, but it's that unprogramming that those false beliefs that are in that subconscious, and we have them. Boy, oh boy, do we have them.
Oh, yeah,
so,
absolutely.
so what's coming up for Michelle and Earth Angel Healing?
So well, I have a lot of cool things going on. I'm working on going into a physical space, which I haven't been in since I moved here to Delaware. Um, I have a Right of the Womb, online Right of the Womb, scheduled for December 4th from 7 to 8:15. I do monthly group energy healings, which it's the quantum multidimensional healings, which is using the light language. I do both written and verbal. And I'm creating a program I'm going to be putting out in January. So yeah, it's a form of a mentorship program. So it hasn't quite morphed completely, but I feel like December's my month, like almost like an incubation month where I'm going to be really kicking it out. And
Right.
we talked about this before. Like I thought I was going to be doing something like that, like the end of this year, and um, it's definitely for next year.
But you
I'm
are doing it at the end of this year because you are
Yeah.
preparing and writing and what you need to do. So, yeah.
Yeah, getting out of my way more and more and putting myself out there further.
Yeah.
And I have my classes and workshops that I do both online and in person. So I'm going to be doing a lot more in person in Delaware, and really hoping to expand my online work as well. But this program I'm working on, I think, just my next big project. But I'm always doing my sessions both online and in person with people. So the quantum healing and multidimensional healing is my passion. But I just feel like there's Not fully 100% aware of how some things are going to shift and change, but I'm okay with that because I'm embracing everything. So
Right. Right. That's the surrender and not being in control. You know, we're there, we're doing the work, but we're allowing for the universe to gently guide us in another direction. We can't have
yeah.
it like written in stone. This is how I'm going to do it, because it's like banging your head against the wall.
So
Yeah, and like I think there's a shift happening for a lot of us because, well, you know, I'm doing more things in person locally
mhm.
here in New Jersey now that I'm back here in New Jersey, and I just the the online stuff for me, I mean, I love the show. I'm glad I'm doing this, but I've never been drawn to do classes or things online. Maybe as I grow the in-person ones, I might offer, you know, at the same time. I guess you could do
Mhm.
that. I don't know.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I have um I have a sale coming up. So I'm Wednesday night, my prices will be posted, but I have a Black Friday and the Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday sale coming up on some of my sessions and I think on all my sessions. Um, so that's going to be happening as well. But I like doing both. I like doing the online. I like doing the in person. And I've always felt that I'm going to have almost like a 50-50 thing. But I feel like a lot of my online um, is going to turn into some workshops as well. But I'm going with the flow and ready for what 2026 is going to bring. And I'm spending the rest of the year doing even deeper work on myself and getting ready because it's going to be a magnificent year. The year of
What?
the horse, a number 1 year. We're leaving the 9 year of 2025. The year of the snake, which is the shedding, the releasing, the endings. So I recommend that everybody just allow themselves to keep releasing at a deeper level, let go of the past, and start embracing the new you, new beginnings, because that's what 2026 is all about. It's a 10 year, just one.
You used surrender and embrace, and
Yep.
every year I tap in to get the overall theme for the year, and this year was surrender. As I'm preparing to go in for the new year, I received embracing.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
yeah, so I really you know, I feel like that's exactly, you're spot on with that, you
Yeah,
know.
this the year of the snake, the serpent is the archetype of that for humans is the snake sheds the past, sheds its skin,
Hmm.
and we're to shed the past the way the snake sheds its skin all at once. And the hardest part, the last part for the snake to shed, is the head.
Of course,
So we
because that's
have
what we get,
the
you know,
thoughts, the mind,
that's it.
heart and mind coherence out of the head and into the heart. Breathe through the heart and tell the head and the mind and the ego to take a back seat, and the heart takes the lead. The heart's the driver, the heart's the navigator, and the head is the passenger. The ego is the passenger that allows the heart to guide them. And the heart's not like, oh, I'm all loving it. No, it's what's your soul calling for you to do.
Right,
Like, go
right.
in, live from the heart.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Michelle, it's been a pleasure as always. I hope we can do this again in the new
Absolutely.
year. We'll be embracing more and more, right?
I will have a lot to share.
Yeah, yeah. So thank you again for your time. I
Thank
put
you.
your website up through the whole show, and then I added it to comments so people can find you. It's earthangelhealing.com, earthangel.com, correct?
earthangelhealingllc.com.
LLC.com. Okay. So I bid you adieu. Many blessings. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much
You
for
too.
being with me.